everyone, and today I'm going to talk about my top 10 books that I read in 2014. It was hard to justify it down to 10 books, but I did, and some of them were really easy and other ones I really wanted to put in here, but I think when I saw this top 10, I'm happy with it. 2014 is ending and 2015 is right around the corner, and so these are the top books that I read in 2014. It does not mean that they came out in 2014. Some of them did, some of them didn't. I'm just talking about the ones that I personally read. I have a video that I talked about for a majority of these, some I did not, but you can go and see what videos I have and you can watch them. They should all be linked down below in the About section. Book number 1 is Unhinged by A.G. Howard, and I read Splintered in 2013 and then I read Unhinged in 2014 when it came out, and I love this series. It is a weird, twisted take on Alice in Wonderland. It's amazing. The third and final book of the series is coming out January 6th of 2015, so I am super excited to read this last and final book, and I just actually finished rereading Splintered this morning. Now I'm going to start rereading Unhinged, and I just cannot wait for it all. I love it. Go check it out. The second book I want to talk about is actually 2 books, but they're part of a series, so I'm just going to tie them together, and that is the Madman's Daughter series by Megan Shepherd. The first book is The Madman's Daughter, and the second book is Her Dark Curiosity. The third and final book comes out in also January 2015. There's an overall story plot line, but that all stems from a certain book retelling. So the first one was like the Island of Dr. Moreau, and the second one was on Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and so yes, the third one is going to be on something that I would say, but I kind of feel like it's kind of a spoiler. You can go and check it out if you want to see what the third one is about, because I think it's pretty much open, but again, I feel like it would kind of be a spoil. One of my favorite thing about that book is the writing. It's so like weird and twisted and kind of gruesome in some ways, but at the same time it's just written so well that you're like, give me more. I shouldn't want more, but I do. Book number 3 is again a series that I read all together, and that is the Shatter Me series by Tahira Mafi, and it comprises of Shatter Me, Unravel Me, Ignite Me, and then if you want the 2 novellas together, Unite Me. And very good series. Ignite Me came out in 2014 and it is the closing of the series. Very good series. Writing's very poetic and probably one of my top 5 series in general. The 4th book is part of a series. Do you see a trend? I kind of like to marathon books, and this was a year of really good reading. The 3rd book out of 4 came out this year, and the 3rd book is Cress by Marissa Meyer, and it is part of the Lunar Chronicles. The 1st book is Cinder, the 2nd book is Scarlet, and the 3rd book is Cress. And they all deal with this futuristic New Beijing and their story like retellings. Cress was Rapunzel, Scarlet was Little Red Riding Hood, and Cinder, the 1st book of the series, was Cinderella. This was a book and a series that really surprised me. I didn't really think that I would like it, but I heard a lot of good reviews from people, and I was just like, I don't know, because Cinder, the 1st book, she is a cyborg, and I was just like, I don't know how I feel about that. But I gave it a try and it blew my mind, and I'm so glad I did, because that series is really great and I devoured that series. It was really good. Book number 5 was the last book of a series, and that is City of Heavenly Fire, which is the 6th and final book of the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare, and it was a whopping of a book. It was very big, but I liked the way everything tied in together. Another series that I really love, and Cassandra Clare is a really good storyteller, and I loved how kind of everything came together, and it's the last book of a series that I enjoyed, so of course it's going to be in my top books. Book number 6 is a series. It is a whole series, and it's an older series, but I loved it, and that is The Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. Kind of like Cress and Cinder, I was hesitant to pick it up. while I enjoyed Twilight at the time, I was then hesitant afterwards to pick up another vampire book. But I was a brave girl and I picked it up, and oh my god, it is, again, I devoured it. There's 6 books in the series and I probably finished 6 books in like 2.5 weeks or something like that. It was crazy. I loved it. I could not put them down. The main character is very witty, which makes all of the drama going on just a lot more, I don't want to say more manageable, but just having her as the main character and having someone who's just very witty and sarcastic just makes the book a lot more lighthearted. But basically it's a vampire book, Vampire Academy, there's an academy of vampires, ha ha ha, wouldn't you know. And the main character is a Damphir, which means she's part vampire, but she's mainly human with the vampire benefits. And her job is to protect the Moroi, who are like royal vampires, and that's the basic premise, and shit goes down. Book number 7 was the most surprise of all, and that is Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. I had read the previous 2 books, Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight, before, and just kind of thought they were okay, and I picked this one up just because I was curious on where it was going to go, and I said to myself, after the 3rd book, because it's known that there's going to be 6 books in the series, so after the 3rd book, if I didn't like it, I was just going to put the series down, to be completely 100% honest. I picked up Heir of Fire, and I loved it so much, like to the fact where I really want to reread it. That's just how it is. I was very surprised, and if you were like me and didn't like Throne of Glass or Crown of Midnight, give Heir of Fire a try. Book number 8 was In the Afterlight by Alexandra Bracken. It is the 3rd and final book of the Darkest Minds series. Love the Darkest Minds. Probably one of my top 5 favorite series. And yes, just everything about it. The Darkest Minds, if you don't know what it's about, The Darkest Minds is basically kids develop these supernatural abilities and they're feared, and so they're kind of put into these camps. It is amazing and wonderful. Book number 9 is the final series that I'm going to talk about, and it is the Mara Dyer series. So you have The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer, The Evolution of Mara Dyer, and the last one that came out in November of 2014 was The Retribution of Mara Dyer. I marathoned this series, which is by Michelle Hodkin, and I freaking loved it so much. The main character, is she going crazy, is she not? It's just so good, so good. And last but not least, just noticing that this is the only standalone book that I have in here, just because there's so many good series that ended in 2014, and that is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I just recently read this book. I freaking loved it. Oh, this book was so good, so good, so good, so yes. Alright, so that is it for today. If you like my videos, subscribe down below. Also check out all the links that I mentioned down below in the About section. If you want to follow me on other places on the interwebs, you can follow me on Goodreads, Tumblr, and Twitter, and there should be lots of videos coming up soon, like an anticipated 2015, and a Bring It On Books, January 2015, and fun things. So stay tuned, and I will see you guys later. Bye! I am going to tell you the 3 people that I think you should just subscribe to because I say so. So the first person is going to be Sarah from Sarah